Hello, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Rogue Valley, Oregon. I'm Kimberly Hawkins, Spiritual Director here. As always, we're delighted to have you join us for our Sunday celebration. We are a progressive, inclusive spiritual community, teaching tools to transform personal lives and help make a world that works for everyone. We have a very special treat in store for you today. Our guest musical artist and speaker grew up in Detroit, Michigan, home of the Motown sound. Showing promise early on as a musician himself, he went on to have a lucrative career as bass session artist, bass player for musical greats from James Brown to Barbra Streisand. On his own healing journey in 2007, though, he discovered New Thought, and his life and career took a radical turn. He went on to be musical director at CSL Greater Las Vegas, as well as CSL Seattle. Today he lives in Florida and has devoted his life to spreading the message of ancient wisdom, New Thought. You may have guessed by now, I am speaking about none other than the beloved musical New Thought artist and inspiring speaker, Eddie Watkins Jr. Take it away, Eddie.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in your sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in your sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. From every walk of life. Every creed and color.
God is, you are. God is love. You are one with love. Love fills your heart and blesses your life. God is power. You are one with power. Overcoming power, the power to do and be is yours. God is peace. You are one with peace. Nothing can disturb or upset you. You are calm and serene. God is strength. You have strength of body mind, and emotions, strength of soul. God is life. You are one with life. You feel the life of God flowing through you, a mighty, healing, cleansing, renewing stream. God is substance. You are one with substance. From God comes a continuous outpouring of plenty for every need. God is light. You are one with light. Light shines in and through you. You see your way clearly. God is wisdom. You are one with wisdom. Your mind is illumined. You know what to do, and you do it. God is good. You are one with God. You are one with all that is good. A beautiful new start of a day, and I'm sending my love and my light. Namaste.
World we live in. So now let's claim our good and speak our word and release it to the universe. It's a new day. Right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together hand in hand. It's a new sing our love across the land. Right here we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. Every day I'm filled with wonder by the glory of the silent thunder unfolding from down under. Satchitananda. Oh, right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together hand in hand. It's a new sing our love across the land. Right here we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection in a mirror. Then we see face to face. Now in part, then I know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
Just before you say something you can't take away, take a breath, then let it out. Try to think about what would love do now. Wondering if you should cross that line for good. Whatever you decide, ask yourself from inside, what would love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what will love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we die for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what will love do? Sing it from inside with me, y'all. What will love do now? Let me hear you sing it, people.
What would love do now?
Sing it one more time for me, y'all.
What would love
Do now. Thank you.
Good morning, dear ones. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Reverend Kimberly, for the invitation to serve your community here at Rogue Valley. I am so honored. Also, I would like to give a shout out to my buddy Anton and Laura for your kindness and your grace. I love you so much. Anton and I have shared many, many adventures together over the years, and such a dear friend, a very beautiful part of my life. This man is. I love you, brother. Thank you for the invitation and allowing this to happen and facilitating this. As for me, I am a musical healer. That is my passion. That is my calling. That is my ministry. So that's what I do. But from time to time, I will be called to speak or to deliver a message from on a given topic, and I think that's probably based on my songwriting insights and spiritual perspectives, which probably show up in my music. So it's understandable that people would think that I knew something, But in any event, I think that songwriting and delivering a message are just like different sides of the same coin. One of the things that's very important when you are writing a song is to deliver a specific or succinct message with a minimum amount of words. Simplicity in communication, pretty much. So that's what I strive for every time I deliver a message. I try to make it as simple as possible and as few words as possible, and let the music do more of the talking. All right? But for today, I would like to offer you one word, and that word is bridges. Bridges. When you think of bridges, it's typically in terms of a structure that will connect 2 points. Everything from teeth to countries. I grew up in Detroit, and in Detroit we had the Ambassador Bridge. And the Ambassador Bridge connected the United States of America to Canada. Within 15 minutes, you could travel from the city of Detroit in the United States to the city of Windsor in the country of Canada. Pretty amazing. You can also connect teeth. You can connect lots of things with bridges. So that gives you an idea of the significance and the value of bridges in our lives and in our reality, In short, the gist of my message was I was comparing human communication and bridges to the heart, and I was just hooking that up to where you could tie those two things together. I think that spiritual things also have physical counterparts. It's all part of nature. So that's where I came out on that one. So it's like about finding common points of interest and developing a rapport, which will, when you have a rapport with someone, it could lead to more substantive or more sensitive issues, right? Okay, for instance, building a bridge. Okay, I wouldn't walk up to a white person and say, "Hi, Black Lives Matter, That doesn't feel like the intent to build a bridge or to really communicate. That sounds like something like, "Hey, how's your day going so far?" Big difference. So what I've come to realize is that bridges often come out of a need. Nobody builds a bridge for fun. And I'll give you a perfect example. Okay. I had a guy that was looking at my car. I drive like a classic VW, bright red VW Beetle, And, he was checking out the car, and I'm loading up my groceries. We're in the grocery store parking lot. And the guy just really looking at this, staring at the car, and then he finally says, "What year is that?" Okay. And I say, "Well, it's a '02. It's a 2002. And he says, "Well, I bought one of those in 1963, but it was a 1962 and I got it used." All right. So now we got a little conversation going. I don't know this guy. First time I've ever seen him. All right. So we got a conversation going. So then, so I asked him, I said, well, how much did you pay for that car in 1963? He said, well, I bought it used. It was a 1962. I paid $1,500 for it. $1,500. I'm spending $1,500 on mine to get it fixed. But anyway, it was so funny. So we started having a conversation about bugs and his love of his bug and how it ran so well, and it brought back fond memories of his life at that time. So now we have the bug was the bridge, you would think, right? Now, the last talk that I did on bridges was sort of like, that's where it stopped. But after more reflection, what came up for me is, you know, the bug was an instrument, but it wasn't really what called for it. Now, I just want you to listen to this for a minute and just consider this. Just consider this, all right? The unrest and the divisiveness of the past few years has created a heightened awareness of us humans of the need to connect and to reach out and to build these bridges. We looked at those years as something that was terrible and something that we had to get over. Okay, that's fine, you know, whatever your perspective is, right? However, please consider the fact that those events created something else, and which made us more aware of the divide and the chasm, right? So now each of us are taking, a lot of us are taking personal responsibility to heal that. And I think that's where the bridge is. The bridge is intent. You know, it's easy to build a bridge when everybody is cooperating and nice, when everybody's in your church and everybody's in your circle. You know, it's easy like that. You know, I mean, it takes a little bit of effort, but not a whole lot of effort when you're doing it like that. All right. But what about the mean, angry, vicious people that want to hurt you? What about those people, right? Why build a bridge to those people? You don't even want to talk to them. You don't even want to be around them. You know, I mean, build a bridge? Really? You know, okay. All right. And you're right. You're absolutely right, because you should always be careful about who you allow into your circle. You know, some people are really asleep. They don't know who they are, so how can they know who you are? They're not loving themselves, so they can't love you, right? Okay, those are those people. And at the same time, consider this. Those horrible, terrible people who doing these horrible, terrible things, your God created them, and they are not a mistake. And that's the thing you have to remember. And when you know that and you realize that, you'll understand that all God's creatures got a place in the choir. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got. Listen to the top where the little bird sings, and the melodies and the high note ringing, and the hoot owl cries over everything, and the blackbird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day, and the little duck quacks and he's on his way, and the otter hasn't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. All God's creatures got pitch in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. We are mammals, animals. Take a look at nature and you'll see every attribute every human attribute demonstrated in nature, in the animals, the wild animals. It's amazing. I'll give you a good example. The badger. Now, I'm sure you know a badger. There's probably a badger in your family. If you don't think there's one in your family, it's probably you. You know, somebody that's always like maybe gossiping or badgering you and asking you questions and giving you advice and all that kind of stuff. A badger. That's sort of like the nature of the badger, the wild badger. Another great example is the porcupine. All right. How many of you have porcupines in your life? A porcupine is a cute little creature, but I wouldn't want to pick one up and snuggle with it, you know, and put it on my lap. Now, the porcupine, it uses as a defense, but still, even if the porcupine's not trying to hurt you, it will hurt you because of its nature. That's what it is. You know some people in your life that you like them, but you can't get too close to them because it's going to hurt. Eventually it's going to hurt, and you know it. And it's not that they are intentionally trying to hurt you, but it's their nature. That's what they do. You know. So that's a good example of, and I have a better one. This is the best one yet, about how in the wild animal kingdom, these animals, without even speaking the same language, how they've developed these bridges and these symbiotic relationships. There's a bird called the Oxpecker, a little white bird called the Oxpecker, mostly in Africa and Asia. And what these birds do is they feed on insects, ticks, and fungus, and all sorts of parasites on hippopotamus and rhinos, right? Now, the hippopotamus and the rhinos, they allow these birds to ride on them and pick off these bugs and all this kind of stuff. And the hippopotamus, who could crush an alligator with the force of his jaws, he opens his mouth and he allows these oxpeckers to come into his mouth and clean and pick off of this. Amazing. And that's just like nature. There are so many parallels in nature and human behavior. We can learn a lot from the animals. That's why I thought that song would be perfect, because we have to remember, no matter how we feel about them, all God's children got a place in the choir. So, in essence, bridges are more about intent than construction or manufacturing. That's where the bridges start. The bridges start from a need and an intent. To be aware of the need and be available for Spirit to orchestrate the details. So in closing, I would like to urge you to set the intention to build a bridge anywhere that you can. The smallest of acts can have a huge impact on the world. Yes, you can change the world. Namaste. We are creating a world that works for everyone. Yes, we're amazing, and we've just begun to feel the power and freedom to be who we came here to be, as we discover each other and celebrate humanity. We are creating a world that works for everyone. Yes, times are changing. It's a love revolution as we are walking together. Love is leading the way through the fields of compassion to a world that works for everyone. To a world that works for everyone. As we are walking together, love is leading the way through the fields of compassion to a world that works for everyone. To a world that works for From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
begin with me. Let this be the moment now.